Hello everyone. So it is November and I am about to head outside and sow some seeds, which isn't typical for this time of the season, but I am finally going to correct my native bed mistake last year of not actually planting natives and plant natives for Illinois into that raised bed. So right now there's still one cosmos that I left in there hoping that it would flower, and then it snowed on Halloween and it killed it. Now the weather is actually, I think, like 50s right now and sunny. So had that not happened, I think I could have gotten some flowers out of the cosmos, but Mother Nature always has other plans. So what I need to do today is take the cosmos out. I raked the soil a little bit already when I pulled most of the plants, but I am still gonna rake through because I think this one has a very large root ball. I actually don't have, maybe I'll double check. I don't think I have any amendments to add to the soil right now. Typically I would add in maybe some compost and mix that around because there's been plants growing in there and now I'm sowing some seeds, but I don't have any. And it's kind of at the stage of the season where I don't want to buy more stuff for the garden that I then have to store the excess of for winter. So I think I might just sow the seeds as is, and then I can always add compost in the spring. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go through the natives that I'm planting because I did get, well, I have my list here. I got 12 different seeds from Prairie Moon Nursery, which I saw recommended on Instagram as a place to get natives. The filtering system is fantastic for finding natives for your area, the height, the color, the sun requirements. I've never seen as good a filtering system on a seed website before. So definitely check them out. I already did a haul a couple months ago when I purchased the seeds, so I'll link that down below to show you everything I bought, but I'm only planting 6, so about half of the seeds that I got into this raised bed specifically. And when it comes to perennials, a lot of the time, well, it's very different than annuals. Annuals will usually put on like their full show, their full display, get to their full size during the growing season. But with perennials, it can take a few years for them to even get to their full height and then eventually flower. So I don't know if I'm gonna have flowers next year or not, but I figured I'll supplement with annuals. So I could throw in some petunias, I could throw in, I don't know, maybe I'll put in some impatiens, that might be pretty, but I'll throw in color so that I have something until these plants mature enough that they are going to start flowering in my garden. Now the reason I'm sowing my seeds now instead of in the spring when I sow most of my annual seeds is that all of the seeds that I'm planting require vernalization or a cold period in order to, germinate and grow for next year. You can do that artificially by putting them in your fridge, and I think you have to put them in like paper towel and make sure they stay moist enough, or you can do it the easy way and just throw them outside and then see what happens next spring, because obviously the winter with the snow and the temperatures will do the vernalization process naturally. That's how nature's done it on its own. So I would rather do whatever's going to require the least amount of effort from me and get these plants into the ground now instead of doing it myself over winter in the fridge and then planting them in spring. Gonna plant them anyway, might as well do it now. So now let me go through and I will mention the ones that I'm planting. I have my little Excel file here, and then we'll go outside and get that bed planted. Now, my color scheme for the front garden is color chaos. So I like to throw as many different colors together as possible. So I don't even know if any of these are really like the same color once they flower. So the tallest ones that I'm gonna plant in the back, I have blue wild indigo, which that'll be blue once it flowers. That should get to about 4 feet tall. Then I'm gonna add in lead plant, which has purple flowers. That'll get to about 3 feet tall. And then I'm also going to add in swamp marigold. That'll be yellow and that'll get to about 4 feet tall. I am wondering if, so my beds themselves tend to, I'd say, hold more moisture, especially my raised beds. So it's gonna be a balance of trying to figure out the best moisture requirements for these plants, but I'm hoping they will all work together. And if they don't, I'll pull something out and replant something in its place. Then I have in like my middle row, I'll have butterfly weed, which that is going to be orange and get to about 2 feet tall, and eastern blue star. Now this is blue, but if I'm remembering correctly, it's a very pretty light blue. So whereas the blue wild indigo is a deeper blue, this one will be very light and pretty. And then in the front, I am gonna plant some prairie onion, which those I think have a purple flower and they're only gonna get to about 14 inches tall. I'm gonna do one plant of everything except the prairie onion. Prairie onion I'm gonna put in a row probably of 3 up front. And I'm gonna sow maybe like 3 to 4 seeds per hole. Now I did get all of these seeds this year, so they shouldn't be that old. Obviously germination rates go down the older the seeds are. So I should have pretty good germination. I also might do like 1 hole of 3 seeds for one, and then another hole of the same plant right next to it because I like to overseed just in case something happens. So that is gonna be my plan. So now we can head outside, get the cosmos out. I'm hoping it's easy, and then get everything else planted, and that'll be it. That might actually be the last thing I'm planting outside for this year. Here's the bed that I'm gonna plant all of these in. And like I said, I removed everything except for this cosmos. Can you see how thick this stem is? I mean, it's definitely like 1 inch thick. Let me give it a tug. Maybe it'll easily come out and I'll be excited. Absolutely not. All right, well, let's go get some tools. We'll get this out and then we'll get the bed sown. I'm going in first with my pruners, but I also brought out my giant knife because I think I will need that. So let's see if I can cut this stem. Let's do a little height comparison with me and the cosmos. It was so close to blooming. The buds are on it. I think I beat it by 1 inch or 2, but that's how tall this got. It never flowered, unfortunately, but it definitely would have without that killing frost. So I will leave that there for now and chop it up later. I still feel powerful when I get to use this. Don't get to use it as much as I would like. So I'm just gonna cut in here in like a little square and hope it comes out. Again, this is from Amazon. It's a pretty cheap knife in comparison to some other knives I saw, so it is wobbly, which I don't think you'd ever consider a good quality knife wobbly. Like, I don't think that's an adjective you would use to describe a good quality knife, but at least for me, it's getting the job done so far. And there we go. There's a square that I cut out. Yeah, I definitely need to rake through this. Oh yeah, there is some big root chunks in here. Actually, not too bad, just a lot of tiny roots. And again, those should break down in here over the winter just fine, although maybe this is a bigger chunk here. Now the rest of the bed does still seem pretty good in terms of me having broken up the soil. And although it doesn't look like I need to add a ton, I might just add a fresh layer onto the very top, which is obviously where the seeds are going to be sown. The bed is empty, fresh soil has been added to the top. I mean, maybe not even 1 inch on top there. So now I'm gonna grab the seeds and we'll come out and get them planted. Here's what I'm planting in order from back to front. So these 3 in the back, 2 in the center, this one up front. So let's go ahead and plant. Now none of these need to be surface sown, but I'm not gonna put that much soil on top of them. You only really wanna bury them like with maybe about 1 or 2 times the depth of soil based on the size of the seeds. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 there. Again, I'm planting like 2 holes next to each other. I'll thin them. You know, maybe I'll just add a couple more in here for good luck. But I'm just going to add in a few extra, and then I'm going to thin to 1 plant each. Again, except for prairie onion, which I'm going to put in the front. So, do lead plant next. So these are so small. Where's the center of the bed? Right about here. I'm just going to sprinkle in a few and lightly cover. I want it to grow somewhere around there. Now, I'm not following spacing requirements. I never do in my garden. I think you can get away with adding, like trimming a few off and be fine. But I am interested to see how these natives do in my raised bed with each other, with the spacing I have. Next up is a swamp marigold. Ooh, got a little wind there. And these are a little larger, so I'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna do like a couple piles of about 3 seeds, cover them up. Now I'm not going to water these in. Obviously you can, but we're getting rain soon, and obviously these are going to stay out all through the season. And then they're going to get like snow and rain and all that from the winter. All right, next I'm going to do butterfly weed. These should get to about 1 foot or 2 shorter than the ones in the back. Let's go right about here. There, one pile there. Next is Eastern Blue Star. So see, that's a very light pale blue. That I'm going to space about here. These seeds are interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen seeds that look quite like that before. Let's see, a couple there, a couple over there, and cover. I am hoping, because I'm assuming there's seeds in here that dropped from the wildflowers I pulled, I'm hoping I can tell the difference between what's what next spring. But since I'm planting like these in very specific spots close together, I should be able to tell. All right, so now what I'm going to do is about 3 areas of the prairie onion. So these in there, cover a little bit, these in here, cover, these in there, cover. That's it. Part of city living is trying to film while there's a plane and a siren and yard work being done, but I still do love the city. So we're done. That was it. I'm always like amazed, especially in my garden that's smaller than the average, how quickly tasks are done. And then I put off these tasks and I realize they take like 10 minutes and I should have done it sooner. But yeah, these are all the seeds that I have planted. Nothing else really to do with this until spring. So we'll kind of see how this goes next year. I am excited. Like I said, I might supplement with annuals just to get some color in that bed before these fill in. But I'm really hoping this is like a no or very low maintenance bed going forward. Like not replanting, not doing anything except for some maintenance with these. And hopefully the pollinators appreciate it. So that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.